Man, if we could only guarantee that we're going to get 25% from our head-to-head pairings, like from offspring that's a visual, right? That would be freaking great. But no, we're always optimistic thinking that we're going to get 50%. Well, today I'm going to use our 7th clutch of 2025 to test this theory of whether we get a true 25%. So stick around and let's just see what we get.
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Paul, Spheric Reptiles, and I'm so amped up to be coming to you today about the 25% myth and what we really produce from our head-to-head pairings, right? So, of course, like I said before, we always think that we're going to get 25% of all of the eggs that'll be visuals, and that would be freaking great. That would just be freaking great, but that's not always the way that it is, right? So we're going to use our clutch that we paired up two animals that are head-to-head, and they were a single gene recessive to one incomplete dominant. So we paired up Medusa here, our head clown female, to Thanos, our, confusion head clown male. So it's very simple genetics. So we got one single recessive clown, and we have one non-normal incomplete dominant in the confusion. So I'm just going to use this clutch to test the theory. Again, thank y'all again. I welcome you if you're coming back. I forgot about that. I always forget to say thank you, right? But I should say thank you a lot more for tuning in. Hopefully this content is something that you really enjoy, but hey, let's just get right to the numbers. So if you're looking at the screen right now, the genetic odd breakdown is this. You get 25% chance to get a visual when you breed a head-to-head pairing, and then you got a 50% chance to get a het, and then you got a 25% chance to get a normal. That's just the breakdown. So in the beginning, you have an equation of 1, and you're dividing it by 4. The hets get 2, so it's 50%, or it's getting half of those. So out of the visuals that are removed from there, then you're ending up with 1 as you look at the screen again, and you have your hets, which have 2/3 of the vote, and you have your normals, which have 1/3 of the vote, or whatever you say. Because I think it's random. It's the equivalent of playing Plinko on The Price is Right. So you put it in, just don't know what you get. You only got 4 slots at the bottom. But at the end of the day, that's how we end up with the 66% hets. You have to separate those incomplete dominants, so your pattern. So you got your recessive traits, and now you got to separate your incomplete dominant traits. What people actually buy the snake for, the wow factor, that's just not the underlying base. I would say the recessives are the base. So if you have a pied, if you have a clown, those are the bases. If you have a hypo, that's a base canvas. Now you can add on orange dream, yellow belly, black pastel, red stripe. Oh, that sounds like a Pompeo spot nose. But see, that's how you get the different like murals of art on these base canvases. And the more base canvases you stack, the more likely it is you can end up with a snake that makes you really say, wow, it'll stop you in your tracks. And we've all seen those. But when we look at those incomplete dominant traits, what you're going to notice is that this is simple genetics because we got a normal and we have a confusion. So if we did a Punnett square, which is a rectangular box that you see on the screen right now, you're going to see that big A and little a equals a confusion. Small a and small a equals a normal. And it's just that simple. So that's how we know in this simple form that we're going to have a 50% chance per egg to get a confusion and a 50% chance per egg to get a normal. So think of all that equation, 25%, 50%, and then male and female. So that's a sex-linked trait that's contributed by the male or not. If he gives a Y chromosome, it's a male. If he does not, it's a female. So then you have to equal that into everything. And so in a sense, and I saw a video by Will, and that was a great video, Will. It just so happened that we had a clutch too to further drive home the point. But if you take that original 25% and you want a male or female, now you got to divide that. So even if you end up with a visual, you got a 50% chance on that visual. This is a lot of visual talk, right? So 25% divided by 2 is 12.5. And then you got a 50% chance per egg to get a normal or a heterozygous, right? So it's a bunch of 50%. So if you're looking for a visual or a female visual, you got a 12.5% chance. And that's just with one single gene recessive and one incomplete dominant gene. So it breaks down a lot. So the 25% myth is true if you're just looking for a snake. But if you're looking for a specific sex, a male or a female for your breeding projects, then the number goes down way more. And again, this is just one. Imagine if you did two. So you would take that, if you're looking for two recessive traits, now you take that 12.5 and divide that in two. So you get even smaller. And so that's where it gets really convoluted. Oh, and I need to say it. So the reason these red tiles are here is I wanted to really touch on that is because we still have females that are going through, this one's going through ovulation where we bred a black pastel het clown to a red stripe visual clown. And this is a double het lavender albino that we bred to a visual lavender albino. That's a double recessive to a double het. So, but I'll explain that in the end of the video as to why. But yeah, I'm just giving them a little bit more secrecy since we have the lights on. I just want to keep them nice and chill. You know what I'm saying? Keep them chill so they can grow those babies. But hey, I'm going to get into this clutch right now. And again, we bred a female het clown to a confusion het clown male. So it's a het to a het. And it was a huge clutch of 11 eggs. So I feel like this would be the best way to actually explain the point. And I saw one pipping this morning. But you can see we got 11 eggs here. It looks like they all made it to term. I see some slits right there. This is day 56. And, you know, we incubate at 90 degrees and it's about 80% humidity inside of the incubator. So I'm going to get right to it. But I also have this box right here. And it's got, because I'm going to separate these out and put them into this water. But I think that you've seen me do this type of stuff before. But I will go ahead and get right into it. Just to see, I'll start with the first one that was already. Yep, he's got a couple of, he or she's got a couple of slits in there already. This is the most exciting part to me, is actually having the egg cuttings, because that's when you really know. So this one looks like it is not a visual, of course, because you see that it's not a clown. That's what we're breeding for, and it's a normal. So this falls into the category of, is it or is it not het? So I'll go ahead and put this one over here, and that's without even knowing the sex of the animal. And then I'll go to egg number 2, and I just mark the tops of how they're laid with a little slash so that I can know which way is up. Can I grab these scissors? And this one too looks like it is going to fall into the het category. So right now, if we're looking at 25%, we're 0 for 2, right? Now I'll go to this one. And I like filming these live because then that way we can just see the natural reactions that I have. And then you get to see basically the unedited versions of these pairings and things like that. Well, it looks like we got our first confusion. It looks like it's a het because it doesn't have the clown markings, but it's still a confusion now. That is the 50%. So we got 2 normals and 1 confusion. We don't know if it's not a clown, so we don't know if it's a het or not. So I'll stick that over here. Wipe my hands off a little bit. Like this big clutch, I mean, this is huge. I mean, she's laid for us twice, and her first clutch was 11 eggs, and now this clutch is 11 eggs, but she's a 2011 mom, so she typically is going to have larger clutches. Plus, she normally eats a lot. And now we got our first, wow, so we got our first visual clown confusion. So that's really good, guys. So that proves out because we bought Donos, our male, we bought him not knowing. We just found somebody that said he was a proven breeder and we bought him. But now that proves him out that he is definitely het, because, you know, you just never know until you see. So I'll put this one here, wipe my hands off. So now we're at 25%, right? So we're at 25% right now for per egg, that type of thing. Now we don't know if it's male or female, but now I'll go straight to this one. And it looks like we got another confusion. Let's see. Is it a, can't tell, but it looks like it's a head as well. So we got another confusion head clown. So I'll put this one over here. And so right now, if we look over here, we have two normals that we don't know. And then we have two confusions and we have one confusion clown. So right now the odds are looking pretty good. I mean, I think they're looking pretty good. Now I'll go to the sixth egg. And it looks like, I can't tell if, it looks like that one's a head as well or a possible head. It looks like this one is a confusion that we'll have to test to see if it's head for clown. But this is another one. So now it looks like the odds people are definitely working with us on the confusions because we got 4 confusions out of the group so far and we got 2 normals. So I will get the next one. I'll sit this to the side, wipe my hands off a little bit. Again, man, this is a huge clutch. I mean, it's really a huge clutch. And my main goal was to try to get confusion clowns because I really like those. I really like the acid confusion static stuff anyway. So it looks like we got another confusion that's a possible head for clown as well. So we got 4 of those right now. And we don't know the sex of those yet. I do know that there's a lot of goo on my hand, but that's why I have this towel back here this time. All right, so now this is, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is egg number 8. I just try to keep my thumb in front so that I can feel where the scissors are going. I want to see what this one is. So this one looks like a normal. So this is a normal and it's a possible head for clown. Again, we'll have to get that tested. So we've only got 1 visual so far out of 8 eggs. So that's a lot lower. That's only at 12.5% for the visuals, just to let you guys know that it's per egg. So each one of these is like rolling the dice. As I go to number 9. All right, it looks like we got another, well, this looks like we got another confusion that's a possible head for clown. That's the one part about breeding heads to heads, is your odds are really fighting against you. Now, if you breed a visual to a head, then you have a 50% chance. So your odds are a lot better per egg. It's just like you're either going to get a 1 or a 2, right? So every time you roll the dice, you're going to get this. But in the case of head to heads, you just got to remember that every time you roll the dice, you got a 1, you got a 2, you got another 3, and you got a 4. But the 1 is the only one that's visual. The 4 is the non-het, and then you got 2 chances of getting het. So that's the way I need you guys to think about this. So I'm gonna roll the dice again for egg number 10. We'll just see what we get. Well, at least I'm glad I got 1, but you can't give up on the eggs until you cut them all, right? That's something that I've learned on this journey of breeding ball pythons. And this one looks like it's another acid that is het for clown or possible het for clown. Sorry about all the blood, guys, but that's painless at this point. They've already developed, and now they're just absorbing their yolk sac. So that's just part of the yolk at this point. They're going to shed all of that off anyway. And now for the very last one, which I can tell you, these are not the odds I was wanting for, but at least we got one, right? And it looks like we got a normal that's a possible het for clown as well. So, man, so that is why I wanted to do this video, as I put this to the side and wipe my hands off. So the odds that we got today are, so remember, 25% of these should have been a visual clown, right? Well, we only got one, so that's 9% out of 11 eggs. So this is a really big clutch, and we have just one visual clown, and that was this one. So we got the one visual clown that we have that we know is a clown. But then when we look at the other ones, what else did we get? So we got 9% here, but then we got a overwhelmingly large amount of confusion. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with that, we're over 50%. So that's good. So that stat actually held true for the normal to the confusion, right? And so we got that, and then we got four normals. So that's a little bit under. So that's kind of what we were breeding for. We weren't breeding for classics because I still like the classics. But we were trying to breed for more clowns. So the hope is, because we have a lot of clown males, is that some of these will be females so that we can keep those and we can breed these females after. We'll have to test them now to see if they're het clown, but we can breed those to our visual males, and then we can end up with hopefully some visual confusion clowns in the future. And then, but with that, we'll be able to add in more genes from some of the other males that we have. But hey, this is what you get. So it's really, the numbers don't lie, right? So the numbers do not lie. So it's 25, 50, and 25, right? So you have a chance to either get all or none, right? And then you have a chance to get some in the middle. And then when you take the sum in the middle with the all, none, then you end up with a 66 or 33% chance per egg that you'll have to shed test to determine, or you can raise it up and see, but I would rather spend the money now, spend the $50 now, find out if it's het clown, and then raise it up to see if it's something I want to keep, or at least if I sell it to someone, they will know. But now, in conclusion, I think that this was a successful video. I don't know, let me know. But here's the thing. So this is added, this is extra. So a lot of people are trying to breed double visuals, right? Or triple visuals. So imagine if you bred a double visual het to another double visual het, or let me say that, a double het recessive to another double het recessive. So what would your odds be? So to start off with, you're at 12.5% of the eggs being a visual, because you got all those different combinations. Then when you stack on the incomplete dominant genes, that's separate, but just ending up with your base, remember? So we're talking about the base. So a pied, we're talking about a desert ghost, we're talking about hypo, we're talking about tri-stripe, we're talking about genetic stripe, we're talking about any one of the 3 albinos that are out there. I mean, it goes on and on. The clown, those are all base recessive morphs, right? You can add them up together and then you end up with a better base, but when you add the colors on, that will be different. But just to get those bases, your numbers are going to go down. Then if you do get a visual, say you're looking for a male or a female, that number is going to be cut in half. So that 12.5 will become a lot less than that, right? It'll become, what would that be? 6.25, I think is the actual number. So that's per egg. So your numbers are actually going against you more when you breed double het or triple het or quad het to another double, triple, or quad. So I think, and I've done a lot of research on this because we're really focusing on double visuals. And I've done research on this, and the best pairings for that would be a double visual to a double het for those same recessive traits that you're looking for, so that you have a 50% chance per recessive trait of getting that visual, right? I think that's the best combination. Another one would be, say, if you had a visual to a het to a het to a visual. So if you're trying to breed lavender albino pied, you take a lavender albino that's het for pied and breed that to a pied that's het for lavender albino. And in that case, you would end up with a 50% chance per egg. That's not the sex of the animal or anything, but that would increase your odds, at least to where you're only rolling a 1 or a 2 instead of a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So, and I think that as we move forward, this type of information will be helpful, because I'm always looking at these same numbers and determining our pairings and stuff. Like even with this one, I said I want the highest amount of odds for the pairings that I'm doing, because I'm not breeding them to produce the same animals. I really want to produce something different, which I know that you do too. But now these have to go and they have to shed out, and then I'm going to have to do shed testing on them, get meals in them. And if you look over here, I have tons of hatchlings. So everything below here is what I'm trying to get on food, or like these two are already ready, they're for sale. This one is a gravel het clown male, and this one is a yellow belly that's double het for clown pod. And then we also have Dakota here, which is a cinnamon leopard spot nose that's het for clown. So we do have a lot of animals that are coming up at the end of this month. I know that our Morph Market page will be slammed. We'll have well over 30 animals on there, but you know, the trick is now is to get them all on food. So, and that's a totally different video, a totally different subject of just getting your animals on food, when to introduce the food and stuff like that. I haven't did a video on that yet, but I'm pretty sure that there's videos out there already, but we'll see. But please, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really interested in what you think about this and what you're seeing in your own projects and in your own breeding projects. It's the same thing, projects and breeding projects, but I'm interested because that helps me to grow in what we're doing here at Spheric Reptiles. But if nothing else, guys, hey, enjoy that time that you spend with your reptiles. Be confused a little bit, you know, try to work out the numbers, and definitely cherish and love your family when you're with them. Thank you.
My guys know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice.